All right. Good Monday morning. I had a really great weekend. I hope you all did too. Um, let's get this party started. So, let's take a look at the news first. This week we have ISM manufacturing, JOLTS job openings, and non-manufacturing on Wednesday. So Monday it's ISM manufacturing. Tuesday we're looking at JOLTS. We got some Fed speaking. We got Fed Evans speaking on Tuesday. So now they're going to start gabbing again. They might want to talk the market down. I don't know. The Democrats might be putting pressure on them to let the market float up so that they could win a few elections. Um, ISM on Wednesday and Thursday, balance of trade. Friday, that's it. Beginning of the month, non-farm payrolls. Very important report. And we'll keep our eye on that. Actually, I'm going to show you the trade in bond futures or in futures, really. That's just a moneymaker on non-farm. Whoops. And I'll show that to you on Friday. At the end of the video, so everybody's locked in. Although I know the guys I want to see the trade stick with me anyway. Yeah, just check back on Friday and we'll go over that non-farm payroll report trade, and it's a good moneymaker. It's something good to have in your arsenal. And what else? Let's get right to it. Right to it. So we'll start off with the Bitcoin. It's having its little breakout. We're looking at the daily. Here's I wouldn't, it's a double bottom. We're staying bullish above this trend line. We're waiting for it to work its way up. And I'm looking for that 29 mark. An entry would have been a break of this high at this point. I mean, our original entry, this would have been the conservative break right here where my mouse is at the 22,681 level. This would have been the aggressive entry after this hammer, 20, 49.4. And well, I could hear the train. It's coming like across the valley. It's on the other side of the valley, and I could hear the echo just carrying through. So that's it. We're bullish on it. You could take a long. I would drop down to a shorter time frame and see what you can get yourself into if you can get a retrace. The momentum is positive. It might trade back, give us a double top. You just got to look at it if you're trading short term. And where do we go from here? Let's look at gold, oil. So did the here's the inverted head and shoulders we were watching. It tagged the neckline and then pulled back. Any bullish move that fails is obviously a bearish move. And let's take a look at the, okay, yeah, that's the dailies. Let's take a look at it on the weeklies. And the weeklies, we're looking at a bear flag. So here's the move down. Here's the retrace. If we break last week's low this week, it will trigger that bear flag and we're moving down. And I've always felt that this should be around 84 or so. So I think we might be pushing down to the lower 80s. We see this momentum is dropping off, so that would support that flag. So the entry would be breaking that low on 725. Your test would be, so I would take my first unit off and just bank a little money at that 88 mark. If it breaks that 88 mark, we're good for 83.47, somewhere down there around my 84 target. It may possibly go. So you know how I trade. I trade 3 units. How many contracts you could afford if you could do, 10 contracts at a clip. So you do 30 contracts. Take your first off right at the test, right there. Move your stop to a break even below your entry, and then see if you can get this baby to run down into the 70s, and that'll make you a year right there, that trade. If you're a working guy. So Those little breaks are me sucking down a bit of coffee. Anyway, that's oil. Let's take a quick look at gold. Actually, gold's not doing anything, to tell you the truth. It had a weekly run on stops. If you remember last week, we were watching that. The entry was right here at the break of that hammer. Broke. It ran up. And I wouldn't get too invested in it because where are you? Oh yeah, okay. Well, yeah, it did the run on stops. It broke, and then we got this monthly hammer last month, right? Yeah. So I'm neutral until it breaks this high. Breaks that high, I'm gonna make take a position right there. So that's 18.15 a contract. We'll wait for that break. We'll get involved, and away it goes. Away it goes. I mean, it's just gonna each significant point on each bar for the monthly is going to be a resistance. I don't know if I'm looking at the 2080 again. I'm going to have to drill into that once we get into the trade. And bonds. There we be. What are we looking at? I'm neutral on bonds. Nothing really going on, which is good because when those bonds are moving, there's just too much involvement in the economy, and it doesn't work out for the stock market. So, you know, this is giving me a good indication that we might be coming into a quiet time. But if you recall, we looked at it last month, and gink. Okay, this doesn't do a continue. But anyway, this was a hammer last month that we talked about, and we were looking on the other software. And we waited for the break of that hammer, and it worked out. We made some money, but now I'm just neutral on bonds. I'm just going to sit back and see what it does, what it presents me for the rest of this month. Doesn't mean I'm not going to touch it this month, but yeah, you know, at the moment, my bias is neutral. And I'm just waiting for something to happen over there. And then last but not least, we got the stock market, the ES. So on the weeklies, what are we looking at here? We're looking at the dailies. On the weeklies, I'm getting a little bit smoother with this software. I don't really do my charting, but I could show you guys different vehicles on this one. So the weeklies, we had a nice expansion. We talked about this breakout right here, and we were watching that, and we actually were crazy about that hammer last week, and that's where we took the entry, and we were kind of screaming about the entry, and it got very aggressive. It did an expansion. But what's important is higher. Here's a high. Here's a low. Lower high, lower low, a consolidation, lower low, lower high, lower low. What's that make, ladies and gentlemen? That's a downtrend. We are still in a downtrend. So, I mean, we picked up steam. Momentum looks good. Things are hot. I like what I'm hearing. COVID is giving Biden a second run for his money. That could be iffy. If that kills this old bastard, that's going to be a buy-in opportunity right there. Because the market's going to tank on uncertainty, but it's going to rebound. Well, I guess we'll have Harris in there. She could fucking ruin us. But anyway, we'll make that argument. But what I think is going to happen is that we're going to create a inverted head and shoulders over here over the next few weeks. So I'd say by the end of the summer, we'll have that inverted head and shoulders. And then September, hopefully, we'll start making the breakout. That's what I expect. So because this is my suspicion, I'm going to be neutral on ES and see if I could watch that develop. I am expecting that to develop. So we should see a low around 37, 38. If we do, I'm jumping all over stuff. I mean, even in my long term, if we see that and it doesn't break that area, it holds that, because this is gonna. It looks like it could set up if it doesn't break below this area right here, right? This being the other shoulder. This is going to be a classic inverted head and shoulders, and we've been in this downtrend for so long that we're due for a decent retrace, and it looks like the Fed's got a handle on things. Yeah, I mean, everybody's getting bored with Russia, meaning the world. The whole scenario is getting boring. It looks like they're going to get aggressive on backing the Ukraine and just knocking this guy out of the box. I mean, now he's talking about launching giving his Navy his supersonic missiles, but I'm sure we'll have equipment to counter that if we don't drag our ass. And just give the Ukraine the equipment they need to get this done. But the game plan is use the Ukrainians to exhaust Russia's military or deplete a lot of Russia's weapons. By well, I don't know how effective the sanctions are, but the sanctions should inhibit his ability to produce, and then we'll just kill a bunch of Ukrainians, depleting the Russian arms supply. I mean, obviously not completely, but enough to hurt them, and then they'll find out a solution to this problem. And such is the world. It's a shame. My heart goes out to the poor Ukrainians, and Russia knows that too. So they're just riding out because eventually they'll get a better deal. And yeah, I mean, this is one man's opinion. One dude locked away in the mountains, assessing what's going on. So, all right, let me not babble. Yeah, that's it. Subscribe, hit the bell, hit the like. Make sure you join me Friday, and I will show you that non-farm payroll trade. I'll be able to do it properly because we can view my futures trades here. So, yeah, that's it, man. Everybody calm, cool, at peace when you trade, and good luck with your trades.